Hello out there. Welcome in for our final one shot of our special series of one shots that we have leading up to the finale beginning of our Seregen campaign. I am, of course, the Wombat of DM, and with me, I'll let him introduce himself.
I am the Banewall, and I am Belzian Gilkis, the half-elf monk, as you know.
Yep.
This is our last one shot. You're saving the best for last, hey? Hey?
Yeah, that's right. You are our last one shot. It would have
Well,
been Zippo, but we actually switched you and Zippo since you had a conflict for yesterday. So you are our finale for this week.
hola.
Last but not least, so let me introduce again the situation we've got going on. So in each of these one shots, save one, we are kind of in a timey-wimey situation where we are starting this episode, this one shot, uh, to- after the beginning of our next session, but not very far from the beginning. And you'll see what I mean by that when we get into that episode next time on Tuesday the 18th. But ultimately, some things will happen at the beginning of the session, and then I will say your one shots happen, and then we will go into what is next after that. So ultimately, at that point, some things might be revealed, there might be some discoveries and whatnot, but I really wanted these one shots to be chances for these characters that we've come to know and love for the last 4 years to really have their own time to do what they need to do without worry about any other players kind of just sitting around on the sidelines waiting for them to be done their stuff, right? So this allows us kind of a nice point to explore and tie up loose ends, or explore some avenues that you might not have felt available to you in the time. So the world is indeed your oyster, Banewall, and I am ready for what you'd like to throw at me. That being said, there might be nothing that you want to do, and so I have some things in case of that as well. So ultimately, as I kind of described just before we started, but for you fine viewers who were not party to this conversation, the group has just teleported back from 3 Points, which is the place where the wall once met in 3 Points. And so the group is now preparing for morning when we will be shipping out for the final battle. Zippo immediately heads off in the direction of the river. Roger seems to be approached by a figure and walks off with him. Two other people kind of walk off in that direction as well. Yarvik says, "I'm going to hit the bar," and heads back to the Adventurers Guild. And Ulrich is off to do his own thing as well. So you are kind of left. You see Carl heading back to his wagon. You're kind of left to your own devices. So, what, if anything, would you like to do?
And we're just chilling a little bit outside of Licht.
Yeah, so you're where the army has kind of made camp, and as you can see, the camp has been set up in an organized manner. You'll see that the tents are kind of lined neatly and separated into groupings, presumably by nobles. As you know, there's a few nobles that are represented here, and
Cool.
yeah, ultimately there's a ton of tents around you, and most people, since it is night, are kind of settling in for the evening or packing things in preparation for tomorrow, or keeping watch or stoking fires. But it's fairly quiet at this point. It's getting to be later evening after dinner.
Gotcha. Belzian would crack his neck, crack his knuckles, do some stretches, and say, "It's Belzy time," and head into Licht.
Okay.
He probably wouldn't say it very loud, though, because it's kind of lame.
Are you going to be heading into Licht across the bridge and in through the east gate, or are you heading back along the road to the west gate? Excuse me.
I think to get to the armory, we went out the west gate, right?
So
Or to get to
yes,
the armory
but
somewhere
you
else.
did kind of a big loop down along the road that Roger made, and you're kind of south of town along the river now, along right adjacent to the makeshift bridge that was constructed out of boats.
I guess I'll take the Roger Road.
Okay, so you're heading back along the road, and then through the west gate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a percentage die, please.
Ooh.
Okay.
10.
So you walk along the road. It takes you about a half an hour with your increased speed. And thank you for the follow. Mercy Ray 5. Thank you for being here. So yeah, you walk along the road and head back into through the west gate.
Yes. Welcome back to Licht.
Indeed. I'll move the map to Licht. There. And I'll move your character over to the west gate.
I may have asked. You made this map, right?
In a manner of speaking, I used the generator and edited it down, yes.
It looks good. I always meant to say that.
Thank you. That's actually, I used the editor to, and I'll go back a bit. So Jewel, I also used an editor for, but I animated it. I actually drew it after I used the map editor. So you can see how it looks very similar to that, but also different.
Yes. Guess we haven't seen Jewel for a while.
Yes.
It's a little more wet now, I think, too.
Doesn't look like that anymore now. Yes. So you can see the inspiration there, right? Very similar map making. All right.
So I think I'll take the scenic route through town, because if it's getting late, I would eventually want to end up at the Adventurer's Rest.
Okay.
But I think we'll take maybe the longest way possible.
Any particular thing your purpose for taking this route or being in Licht?
One of those late night strolls where you clear your head and just are open to any kind of vibes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think we have a couple religious structures at least one religious structure on the way I can hit up.
So there is the church up here along the north side of town. That center area is the guard headquarters, right? Where the barracks is, and I believe the second church is here, so close to the city square.
I'm thinking kind of like a clock path, but I can't. Well, I guess I could run over the water, but that seems rude.
You could. These are bridges here, so you could take any of the bridges.
Take at least 2 bridges. I think I have my pathing shared. If you can see that.
Yeah, I can see you kind of going here twice. Is that?
That one was like a mouse typo.
Okay, got it. So you're going from here to here.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
As much as I would like to take a nice walk by the river, I don't think I need to go there twice. But who knows? Maybe something really cool will be in that one spot.
All right, so you're walking through town. There are actually soldiers in town kind of making a pitch at many of the refugees to join the army, talking about 3 square meals a day, money that they can send home to their family or earn for themselves, after the war, they would get a stipend as well, and maybe even have a life after this battle that they're recruiting for.
Oh yeah, maybe they got a pretty good pension.
Yeah, potentially.
If Belzian's walking by any of these folks, you'd give them a hearty thumbs up.
To the soldiers or to the people that the soldiers are pitching to?
Both, actually. Trying to encourage the people. Like,
Got it. Okay.
Belzian does recommend the fighting life. Oh, and he puts on his Adventurers Guild token.
Okay. It sounds like my cat is yelling at the door. Give me one moment.
Don't keep your cat waiting.
I have her.
How you doing out there, Twitchland? Hope you're having as much fun as I am.
Okay, so you are kind of giving a thumbs up of encouragement. Are you trying to persuade them at all, or are you going to try and motivate in any way? Like, would you like to make a check for that, or are you just going about just kind of putting some flair onto your action?
Can I actually give some kind of performance encouraging people to join the army, see the world, get a pension, with some muscle flexing, maybe a backflip, but a 13.
Okay. You've been kind of pretty active lately, and it seems like you haven't stretched enough because your muscles still kind of ache a bit. Maybe it's just because you've been kind of stationary for 7 days. You haven't really been as active lately as you would have liked. So you find like you do some like some poses and things like that, but you're not able to do your like normal backflip that you normally, your classic, fighting styles. It's kind of like, I need to stretch more.
Stretching is important.
Or at least they don't seem as like taken by your acrobatics that you normally come to expect.
That's fair. I will leave them to it.
Okay. I believe you can move your character. You should be able to. Yes. Yes. Perfect. All right, so you're approaching the center of town, and while there are folks around, mainly these are people that do not have housing, or are out at night and curious about the soldiers. Most of the shops that you have grown accustomed to seeing, or open air market stalls and things like that, are closed up at this point. There's not a lot of trade going on. Of course, the city is abuzz with talk about the army being south, and you did see quite a few people using the same road as you on the way in. So presumably, some of the folks that you normally see maybe aren't inside, but instead kind of heading to visit the army, or maybe something in relation to that, right?
What's the gossip like on the street? Is it positive? Is it negative?
It's kind of a smattering of both, but if you'd like to know more, you could definitely do a check for that.
I can perceive that, I think. I don't think that's an investigation. 23.
Okay. Generally, there is worry about the army being here. People aren't sure what it means exactly. Some folks think that there's something coming. They have kind of growing animosity. Others think that no, the army isn't planning on staying. They were just passing through. That's why they built the bridge down south. but where to? There's something that they're going to, and nobody really sees this as a good thing. They're all kind of anxious about it. Yeah.
That's pretty normal, I'd say. Um, Plus, the army's not going to be here for much longer. They wouldn't have to worry about it too much.
For sure.
I will continue on.
Okay.
Nope, screensaver, no. I have my screensaver set to like 30 seconds. It's like, no. We go this way. I'll stroll alongside the river.
Okay. The river is kind of canal-like here in the city, where it's kind of like the street goes right up to the river and then goes kind of straight down. There is railings along this section, but down toward Wanderlust, there aren't any railings because it's a port area. Ultimately, here you can see that the bridges kind of have a high arch to them, so that in some sections, so that boats can pass under them. So it's kind of like steps up along the bridge and then kind of out over the water and then down the other side. At least on the main bridge. The smaller bridges themselves are actually ones that kind of lift and lower, right? So kind of like a drawbridge type thing, so that ships may pass with no issue.
Cool.
But ultimately, you can see that the street is quite high above the river, is kind of what I'm getting at. So it's a good 10-20 foot drop down to the river from where you are. Hence the railing.
Safety first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will continue on towards the church.
Okay. So the church that you've visited here, I believe, is one that is just celebrating Tolv, right? The church of the 12 is the one that's in the center of the city. This one's just celebrating the Our Father, right? I believe that's what we established a bit ago.
Yeah, we visited them both, and they're slightly different.
Yeah, so this one's kind of more like a shrine. It's fairly small and perfunctory. A single roomed area with the symbol of the 12th god, the most powerful quote unquote god, the god of fate.
Tolv, the god of fate. 12 also kind of sounds like 12.
Yep.
I don't know if we've noticed that before.
So aside the curtain a little bit, each of the gods is named after a number. So Wonder for Wander.
I didn't notice that.
Xerox, 2 in another language, sounds like Xerox. Tolu, all of them have something to do with numbers, with the exception of Langelius. Langelius, the god of nature, was named after a player who was going to be potentially playing with us in this campaign, but passed away about a couple weeks prior to the campaign starting from a heart attack. So I dedicated the fourth god to him. His middle name was Langelius. So anyway, yeah.
Well, they've ascended in a way. They're still with us.
Right, exactly.
So this is a Tolv temple.
Yes.
Belzian will, is there a place to, worship or just hang out?
Yeah, there's a place to light candles. Think like your classic Catholic setting where you've got the spread of candles that you can light, one in prayer, and then you can kneel before the in this case, it wouldn't be a saint, it would be a god, but you know how there's little, I don't know how familiar you are with Catholic Church setups, um, but I'm
It's
not
not my
very
forte.
myself because I'm not Catholic. But I have observed enough instances of it to kind of describe it. So it's kind of like rows of candles, kind of. You know how like stadium seating, how the rows of chairs kind of ramp up. Think of that, but instead of chairs,
Yeah.
candles, and in a smaller scale.
Oh, lots of candles.
Yes, most of them are unlit, so you can. There's a one candle that's kind of larger into the side with many wicks that you can light, and then you can light the candle that you wish to offer a blessing.
I see. Um, I would certainly light a candle for 12.
Okay.
You said there's lots of little candles too?
Yeah, so the little candles are the candles that you would light off of the big candle.
Oh, I see. Okay. Would it be possible to light 13 candles?
Sure, you can light 13.
And then I will meditate slash pray,
Okay. And
pondering.
anything you're praying for, you want to say what your prayer is, or is it kind of just a general idea?
Uh, just general idea. Velzian is praying for peace, ultimately. But he knows it will likely come after some strife.
Mhm.
So he's praying for victory.
You kind
And
of
he would
while you're praying for praying to Tolv, you kind of find yourself your mind wandering toward Amatun, god of peace, uh, in your prayer.
funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, meditation like this is not to clear your mind of all thoughts. It's actually just to help roll the thoughts out in a more practical manner. Uh, Afterwards, Belzian will definitely extinguish the 13th flame.
And actually, sorry,
Ceremony.
it's Huitren, the god of peace and reason, not Amatun. Not Amatun's god of life.
Then it's in nature.
Amatun's god of life. Uh,
And life's pretty good.
yeah, opposite of death. Yeah, Huitren, Huit as in uh, 8. Une, deux, trois, quatre,
Peace and
cinq,
reason.
six, sept, huit, neuf. Yeah.
Oh, good. But yes, definitely extinguish that 13th candle. Not symbiotically, symbolically.
Okay, so you lit the 13th candle and then you're snuffing it out as you kind of pray.
Yeah.
I like it.
hmm Okay. Well, that's one thing off the list.
All right. So with that prayer, um, anything else you're doing?
Not at this place, but I will continue on my long walk.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
I will take one of the small bridges.
All right, the bridge is currently down, so that's good news for you. You can cross. And you find yourself, as you come across the bridge, in front of a field. This field reminds you remember from when you first arrived in Licht. This
We
is the
got here.
field where the king's livestock graze. And since one of their barns is destroyed, most of them are still out in the field, kind of huddled in one area of the field together.
Living stockily.
Hmm.
Is there anybody about? Or is it too late?
It is late. There is a few guards around on the wall to the east, and there is a shepherd kind of sitting at a point in the field, kind of keeping an eye on things. But ultimately, not really too many people around at this point.
Okay. And it's been at least a week and a bit since we got here
Correct.
the first time. Is the barn we came in here, is the rubble still around?
You want to go check it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna sneak in there, really, because I don't know if you're supposed to revisit a crime scene.
So you head over to where the barn was. It looks like it has been mostly cleared and picked over. It kind of is just a vacant lot with some ash left. There has been a new fence that's been erected around the area where it was to kind of close off the open area that the barn left to that they obviously the livestock they didn't want to escape, so they hastily made some new fence along that area.
Okay.
But the field is not connected to this rubble. They don't want the livestock apparently to enter this area.
No, they might get possessed or something. Then we'd have demon cows.
And as we know, possession is 9/10 of the law, so that we don't want them to get in trouble with the law either.
Very good. Okay, so there's not much barn to investigate because they've combed it over.
That's true.
That's fair.
Is there anything that you'd like to do while you're here, or I don't know if there's anything you have ability wise that might you might have that investigators might not have done, but
I say
ultimately,
we did send someone to look before when I was there.
right?
As a monk, I don't have a lot of investigative help. I don't think, other than what I have dark vision from being a half elf. But other than making an investigation check with no aid, I don't think there's much I can do. Just checking my sheet. Checking my sheet. Belzian is 180 pounds. Apparently.
Is that soaking wet or?
It doesn't specify. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that'll reveal anything more, unfortunately. So I will continue on.
Okay.
What's the weather like?
It's a clear night.
The calm before the storm.
Perfect for strolling through a city.
I like walking through cities. It's not a particularly dangerous one. What is this building of note a little to the south of me?
Let me check my notes here.
You know, that person who figured out what all the little symbols on a map means? Legendary.
That is a. It looks like a bank.
Ooh, heist episode. Belzian doesn't like capitalism or banks, so he will continue on with his nose in the air.
Belzian spells all of his words with lowercase letters.
I was just about to say that. Where are we? This is the main bridge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. That's the one that goes up and then across and then down.
That's fancy. Belzian will stop in the middle to look at the sky for good measure. And go, it's a good sky.
Sure. I can also calendar. I need to. It's been a bit since I've checked the calendar.
Our in-game calendar that
Yeah.
is a precise stating of events that have happened.
Okay. So.
Side note, those would be cool to edit into if you edit any of these campaign videos.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it's been so yeah, but both the moons are kind of one is kind of a sliver and one's half full.
How does that make the shadows look?
I mean,
I guess it'd be
so
like
as is
lighting.
customary at night, you often see kind of two shadows. In this case, one is softer than the other, um, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They're not in the same place in the sky, and oftentimes one will be visible while the other is not, depending on the time of night it is. Um, but in this case, they're both out. One is in one portion of the sky, the other is in another.
Just be kind of like stage lighting or 2-point lighting that they could use on
Correct.
something like the news.
Yes.
That's cool. Neat. I think I'll leave the guards alone because they're probably sleeping. We'll check in on this mini temple on the way by.
All right.
I think this is a temple.
Yeah, that's the Temple of the 12.
And I'll spend at least 12 minutes there doing more of the same. Just
Okay.
pray, meditating.
You enter the temple and you see it is actually quite bustling in here. There are a bunch of different people. There are clerics within the temple, and they all seem to be perusing over a table of books. It seems like there is a table of books uh, stacked three or four deep, with a few monks standing at the table. They seem to be deep in conversation, talking about the books that they have um, at their disposal.
Did somebody say books? Um, I will greet them. The books. No, I mean the monks.
Uh, so you recognize these monks. They bear the symbol of your monastery, the Sanctum of
Sanctum
Art.
of Arctos.
Yeah.
My boys. So these fellows, I've seen them before, or they just happen to be from the same place.
They are from the same place, and you do know them. They are both monks that you grew up with, neither of which being the leader of the monastery, but they are from your monastery, and you seemed very surprised to see them, and they're quite surprised to see you as well.
You ever do that
Belzy,
thing when you see a buddy across a room and you go, oh, and they go, oh.
yeah, the
You call them,
Belzian, and they come over to you and greet you, and um, what are you doing here?
well met, fellow monks. I was about to ask you the same thing.
Well met.
I've become a bit of an adventurer myself. As you know, I left the sanctum in search of a book, and I found much more than that.
Well, did you find the book?
A little bit of yes, a little bit of no.
Oh,
Um, some things have changed. You may have noticed a certain wall is no longer there.
yes. We are actually here in support of the army. The king has called for a draft, and some members of our sanctum came to support the king. I mean,
Oh, a
Marius.
draft.
Yes.
Our fill-in temp interim king guy.
Yes, the regent.
Yes. Is that all that brings you out here? Like, what's all these books? What have you guys been up to?
Well, we, of course, brought books. That is what we are about. We are here to spread knowledge and trade books if possible, and maybe bring them back to the monastery someday. And these clerics are quite keen on the idea, so we are looking through their passages, and they are looking through ours, and hopefully we'll find some things that we can accommodate.
A book swap?
Yes.
Jolly good. Belzian's probably having trouble maintaining eye contact at this point. He's staring at the books.
Okay. Yeah, there's many books. If you want to kind of go over and see what they are, you can go ahead to that point.
I would keep up the camaraderie with the fellow monks as well.
Okay. Guess you're. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, if Belzian has to take a book, it's going to be a while probably before you can read another one.
Right.
Might be busy. This might be the last night to blaze through one. How goes the situation at the monastery?
Well, things are fine.
Just fine.
Fortunately, we were not affected quite like some of our neighbors with the flooding just to the east of us.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, Ari is safe. Of course, Jewel and Virus are another story altogether. But we supported for time some refugees, getting them to Ari, and did our best to assist. There was some of us that went to Jewel to see what we might be able to do, but that place is a lost cause. It's taken over by many of creature.
What happened?
Well, it flooded. When the wall came down, so did the water. A literal wall of water passed through the southern parts of Seregen, wiping out both Virus and Jewel. And Jewel was already quite murky, as you know. But now it is fully submerged.
Oh, well, darn. So it goes. What kind of neat things have you been talking to the clerics about? What kind of strategies and news have you been developing?
Well, with the extraplanar creatures about, demons have been spotted and encountered all throughout the kingdom. We are spreading as much knowledge as we can about such things, and ultimately trying to make sure that people are safe.
Very good then. I too would like to share some knowledge, but also gain some knowledge.
Then
tell me what you know.
You are doing well, perpetuating our message, of course, as I am not surprised to know.
Of course. Tell me, share your knowledge of these demons, and I'll tell you what I know.
One thing that is interesting that we have learned is that demons have not been spotted in Renovar for millennia. This is a fairly new occurrence, and yet there are records of demons. So presumably, these two bits of information do not agree with each other.
That does seem to be like a conflict.
Yes.
Where were these written records acquired? When do they hail from?
Well, I mean,
did you bring them with you?
Yes. He picks up a book that is kind of a it depicts several different types of demons and what they are called. basically kind of like a monster manual for
I was going to say the
demonology.
Pokedex of demons.
I mean, and it's not complete by any stretch of the imagination, but it has some of the lesser types on there. Like, for example, if you start leafing through the book, there's nothing about Null within it at all. But
Any familiar faces otherwise?
yeah, so the the if you recall when the you actually you were you in this campaign session when the demons kind of dropped into the world, or were you absent that day?
There was one where we fought, I think they were described as wasps or hornets.
Yes, you were that one, but you weren't at the one before that, right? When the portal opened.
I missed the wasp and hornets, but I was there when Orcus
Okay.
showed up
Okay.
this time.
So the Wasp and Hornets one, those were are not shown here, but it does show some things called quasits, which are like little horned creatures with tails and pointy ears. They almost resemble goblins, but they have kind of like no nose and gashing teeth and horns.
They make goblins look cute.
Merilith is that snake-like, naga-like creature with the 6 arms that you saw a few of in the when Orcus came out.
Or were they there as part of the initial,
Yes.
I guess, invasion force?
Mm-hmm. As well as
yeah.
Hezrau, which are kind of larger creatures that kind of resemble like demonic Gorons. They've got like the spiky tufts on their backs and big
Do
old.
they eat rocks?
I mean, it doesn't say that they eat rocks. But it does talk about demons overall. The largest demon that you can find in the pictures is something called a Baylor. It's a big winged creature. It's depicted as having a fiery whip. It actually, in some ways, reminds you of Orcus, but much smaller than Orcus is.
Null Jr.
So
I mean, it could be. I'm not quite sure how these demons reproduce. Are they all children of Null? Do they come from some other place? Do they hatch from eggs? I don't know if we know enough about them.
well, the Baylor are described as figures of ancient and terrible evil, and are generally generals in demonic armies. And they are described as always having a flaming whip with them, and that they are fueled by hatred and rage.
So they'd be worth noting, I guess. Guys to look out for. Good. Good! Yeah, I think Belzian's like poring over these books. Like he's probably going cross-eyed and reading 2 books at once.
There's something called a Demogorgon that looks familiar to the creature with 2 heads that you fought the other day.
A Demogorgon. What a strange thing.
And the creature that was disintegrated in that fight is called. Oh, give me a second. I have that in a different section. It's called an Eater of Hope.
Eater of Hope. More like Eater of Disintegration Rays, am I right?
So, Eaters of Hope are bitter to the core, resentful of all forms of life and joy, and although these demons can strike down most foes, they prefer to let terror and despair overtake their victims first, letting their victims marinate in fear before the fiend devours them. So
absolutely terrible.
And that kind of rings a bell in your head, and I'm going to let you take a history check to see if you can connect a dot there.
A
Okay.
14.
So, you do recall many people in Licht complaining of like a feeling of overshadowing them for quite a long time, um, until after, timing wise, after you destroyed that demon.
He was eating their hope, wasn't he?
So it seems like that demon might have been affecting Licht for a longer period of time.
Well, that's terrifying. If one eater of hope can affect an entire population.
Um, the book also describes that denizens of the abyss um, are always a danger to the mortal realm and should be destroyed if they ever cross into it. Um, it describes that wherever they wander across the abyss, demons search for portals to the other planes. They crave the chance to slip free of their native realm and spread their dark influence across the multiverse, undoing the works of the gods, tearing down civilizations, and reducing the cosmos to despair and ruin. Some of the darkest legends of the mortal realm are built around the destruction wrought by demons set loose in the world. As such, even nations embroiled in bitter conflict will set their differences aside to help contain an outbreak of demons or to seal off abyssal breaches before these fiends can break free.
Hmm. Sounds familiar.
It does.
One could only wonder how many demonic incursions there have been in Renovar so far. Well, this certainly made me not like them anymore. but
Um, One thing that you know about Renovar itself is that through constant interaction with this theme throughout the campaign, Renovar seems to be in some way planarly difficult. You know of people who have left this plane to go to the outer planes or tried to, but none have ever returned for whatever reason.
mhm.
Now that you've seen a tear occur, a portal into this realm, you know that it's possible, but um, at least based off of what Carl described in your conversation last session, it seems like that was through great effort.
They seem to be quite a piece of work. So not impossible, more improbable. Could be maybe it's a one-way situation. Like if you leave Renovar, you can't get back quite the same way.
Yeah.
There's also the theory that the wall was affecting planar travel, perhaps. Um, these are theories.
Yeah, for sure. And you're basically so instead of this all this information kind of coming from one book, there's like a few books that you're kind of leafing through and kind of picking out certain things. So some of these seem to be accounts that have been kind of written in and described. Some might be unreliable narrators or might be trying to connect dots that aren't necessarily fully accurate. But there are what I'm telling you are things that seem to be you're gleaning from multiple books instead of just a singular one.
I kind of pictured like a scholastic book fair type situation. There's just books all over the place.
Yeah, pretty
And not,
much.
not all of them are winners.
Correct. Yeah.
And your parents aren't going to buy all of them for you. So.
Mhm.
Very good. Yeah. I'd be devouring this information. Is there any
You do
note of
find
like
give me a percentage roll for me if you could.
100%? 9.
Okay, all right. You do find something called a dretch in a book. It seems to be kind of a lower minion type of demon, very small. Um, they you can tell just by looking at the illustration that they aren't the most clever of demon. They're kind of depicted as kind of like a dopey looking.
Like Dopey the dwarf? Or...
Yeah, sure. However you want to kind of classify that, but uh, ultimately, dretches are described as one of the weakest types of demons. Repulsive, self-loathing creatures doomed to spend eternity in a state of perpetual discontent. They have low intelligence and make them unsuitable for anything but the simplest tasks. However, what they lack in potential, they make up for in sheer malice. Dretches mill about in mobs, voicing displeasure, and as an unsettling din of hoots, snarls, and grunts.
Belzian mentally notes one more demon he could probably defeat in hand-to-hand combat. All the ones that we've noted so far are also on that list. Some of them a narrow maybe, perhaps. Is there any note of whenabouts these descriptions were written?
No.
Okay.
They are quite old books.
Okay, so a little bit.
Well, actually, I would say this. There are some that are old, and there are some that seem to be very fresh, as if people are documenting, maybe even these monks are documenting accounts of demon encounters in Seregen.
There would be more and more recently. I see. Well, this is good. Knowledge is power. There's a few demons that Belzian has encountered that I don't think we had information on.
Correct.
Like the wasp guys or the tongue guys.
Correct.
I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but
well, there was
I guess
that demon that was kind of guarding the portal too, right?
The portal demon, yeah, important one that we probably should be keeping an eye out for if we want to discover its secrets.
Maybe that wind thing that you encountered on your way out of Relic.
Yeah, I didn't place that one as a demon in my mind. So.
It could have been, it could not have been. You know what I mean? I'm just listing some evil things that you might have encountered.
Nasties. Okay, so those type of things that I've encountered, the cyberpunks I've encountered, I would take some time to note them down as well in a similar fashion to these books.
Okay.
And, share with the class kind of thing.
Since you are taking the time to note things and write things down in a fresh notebook, give me one more D100.
I can D100 for days.
Okay. And feel free to do an investigation for the remaining books that you're looking through. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10.
They're slowly getting better.
Yeah. I will also say that if there is a check that you wish to reroll, don't forget that you have your guild symbol.
Yeah, we've the guild's luck.
Yeah.
We have long rested since we fought those demons outside, I think.
Oh yeah, that was a couple days ago.
I did re-roll something. I think it just doesn't reset on a long rest,
Yeah,
like automatically.
I don't think it
Gotta click.
automatically. Yeah.
Gotta click the thing. Okay. I will re-roll that investigation then.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's investigate.
And you
Please
don't
spell
have to
this.
necessarily re-roll that. I'm just reminding it because it is a d20 roll that we just rolled. So.
It is. That was a good tip. Thank you.
Mhm.
13 instead of 8.
Okay. In one of the first-hand accounts that were written in a book, it describes something. The passage is marked as demon portals.
Ooh. Now this is juicy gossip.
Do you read on?
Please.
All right. So apparently, there was a first-hand account of a demon portal in Ari, so very close to home for you. And it was discovered that it teleported. People were able to pass through it into the mountains of Gideon. Um, there was a account of a creature that attacked them with tendrils. And the portal eventually was destroyed. But unfortunately, upon its destruction, some folks that had gone through the portal were cut off and left in the mountains of Gideon. A party went to go retrieve those people and found that they had all been killed by something. They were kind of eviscerated. They were barely recognizable as even humanoids.
Oh my, I hate being eviscerated.
Yeah.
That'll get you. Very high chance of demons. In the mountains of Gideon, apart from being like a regular mountain range, they're not known for having horrific monsters of
Uh,
note, are they?
just orcs. So some people might say uh, demons of note, but or creatures of ill note, but that's that. You wouldn't necessarily agree with them on that.
No, that's probably not their modus operandi.
No.
I will draw my own conclusions.
The orcs have also confirmed sightings of demons as well in the kingdom.
They're everywhere.
They are.
We need them to be nowhere.
There are also reports of demons that were in the area of Ari suddenly disappeared after the portal was destroyed.
The demons just disappeared?
Yeah, like there was a report of a man who was being attacked by a group of demons, and then suddenly they were gone about the same time that the portal disappeared. Seems like there was like a investigation done in the area of Ari, and like any word of demons was kind of documented all at once in this book, kind of like an incident report.
Yes. The Ari incident. Or the Portal Mountain of Gideon incident. Okay, so it could seem like the portals may also anchor some of the demons here. Needs to be tested.
That is what we thought too. If you were saying that out loud.
Yes.
um, uh, it seems like um, when the portal was destroyed, the demons that came through it disappeared. Where they went, I do not know, but they left Ari.
I mean, it's possible they could have just turned invisible, but I think they may have been recalled back to their home plane for whatever reason.
Hmm.
This could prove very helpful if we're able to find the portals.
Have you encountered demons? Says the monk that hasn't been talking to you, and he looks ready to write in a book.
Have I encountered demons, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The demons we discussed recently, Belzian would give as detailed a report as possible,
Okay.
without too much superfluous information. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm. Are you going to try and like confirm information that you read that strikes true, and then um,
oh yes.
and
So
whatnot?
when the monks read books, it's kind of like story time. They read it out to each other. It's like watching a Twitch stream.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone comments. It's a group activity.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully they were able to chime in on any of the things we've read about.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that kind of what I've kind of been giving you has been kind of a bit of a smattering of a few things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Especially with something like demons, we don't know a heck of a lot about them. A hell of a lot about them. Uh, so we can only take most of these as theories, other than the descriptions of like the exact demons. Those are probably pretty right. So I would mention the were they wasps or hornets? That was the session I wasn't at.
They were kind of like flies.
Okay, they're
They
buggy
were
guys.
like kind of like flies with like mosquito beaks, but like large.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay, I describe those. Um, I would describe Null in as much detail as possible. Like, see this Baylor guy? Like this, but much, much bigger and much, much more frightening. Were we able to pinpoint like a size of Orcus? Like, was he bigger than a bread box kind of thing? Like, compared to say a two-story house in the suburbs, was he big, big, or was he just like a
He's
dude?
gargantuan.
He's big.
Yeah. Like Baylor are huge. He towers over them. Uh so yeah.
So yeah, mechanics-wise, he would be gargantuan.
Yeah.
I would note that you would probably take at least 2 pages to draw him. He's so big.
Kind of like the big fucking monster from the Magic Unglued deck where it takes 2 cards to make the monster.
I haven't seen that one, but
Oh,
I can imagine it. That's
I'll
just
have to send you a
Exodia with
link.
less steps. Pull it up on the screen. We need to see this. No. Post it in the magic chat.
I'll just put it in your chat. There you go.
No, it's actually called the BFM as well.
Yeah, big furry
That's
monster
great.
though.
I like that. Is that a real card?
Yeah,
Or set of cards?
I actually own them. You if you have Stream App, you'll be able to see it in just a moment. There you go.
There he is, our big boy.
Yep.
That's funny. I like that.
He's got like
Cool.
uh, a Tarrasque on one earring and like a giant worm on the other. So he's huge.
Would you say that's like Orcus sized then?
No, that's bigger than Orca size, but that's like it's like a
Terrace
small
is pretty
moon
big.
size. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for sharing. That's cool.
Mhm, mhm.
Magic is pretty wacky.
It is. Unglued decks are just choke decks, so they have like spoof decks and stuff like that. Of course I have them because I love that kind of thing. So
It's fun.
yeah.
So Belzin would describe as much of the demons that were missing from any of these tales before.
There is one final entry that you find, and it's called Skinwalkers.
Well, that sounds lovely.
They're also known as Manes, Manes.
And they just like walk around showing off their skin, right?
Uh, so they're described as um, people who have been either taken over by a demon or been replaced by one. Uh, some people think that there's a demon living inside of a person. Some people think that that person has been replaced by a demon that looks like them. It doesn't seem to have any. There's just many accounts of people who are suspected as being demons and have been put to death, imprisoned, uh, things like that. Um, some reports may have been false. Some reports these people had done some great evils that were very uncharacteristic to what they were like prior. So yeah, there's a bit of uh, kerfufflery there.
Yes. They sound like demonic doppelgangers,
Yes.
but a little bit worse. We may have met one. Or that guy just had the same name as Null, and it was a really unfortunate coincidence. Gosh, we can't trust anybody these days.
Well, my hope is that that is not the case. But perhaps there are ways to tell. Um, One thing that we are looking for more of information on is weaknesses for demons, aside from magical weaponry.
Belzin just raises his hands, like in a fighting stance. These seem to do pretty good.
Yes, but your key abilities permit you to have magical weaponry without uh, requiring a blade. Not everyone is so lucky.
He is key to my battle strategy.
Yeah, you have that
True.
stuff locked down. He smirks.
Very good. I suppose your average soldier wouldn't be able to conjure any kind of magic arms, other than what we discussed before, like radiant damage.
Mhm.
Can I make a history check? There may be something that I've missed.
Sure.
That I've noted, but can't note right now. 9.
Um, Quite the contrary. The only thing you seem to remember is things that they are resistant to, which is generally fire and lightning.
Well, they were resistant to lightning. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, in closing, killing them seems to make them pretty dead. How about you, fellows? Have
Oof.
you had to
Sorry,
battle
my
many
headphones fell
demons
out.
in
One
your
second.
lair? Oh, I can say anything and he won't be able to hear me. I can say anything at all. I'll take this moment to say that Wombat has been a very good dungeon master and friend over these last 4 years, but he can't hear me, so
All right, I'm
don't tell him
back.
I said so. Oh, hey, welcome back.
Shakes head.
Belzian would will be asking the other monks if they've encountered any demons. And tell me of your battles.
We've only encountered one.
Only one.
Um, it looked like a purple ape. And he holds up a picture of, and I'll send you a picture of it.
Purple people eater.
Well, it was purple skinned, but had um, red fur.
Quite the style choice.
And there you go. It looks like that. And
Wrong
for
window.
those of you who
Oh,
are, I don't know if I can paste it in here.
it looks like it's gonna pick up a barrel and throw it at
Right.
me.
Yeah, it kind of does. There you go, folks. There's the thing.
Now that's gargantuan. I like his bling and his modest loincloth.
Hmm.
Well, that sucker looks huge.
He didn't look like that to begin with. He was disguised as a normal passerby until uh, we drew close to him on the road, and suddenly he was this monster attacking us.
I'm glad you got that sorted. I don't know if the demonic magic is the same as the sort of magic we would have around here, but certainly there are ways to dispel disguises and glamours.
Uh, that is a good point. Uh, I mean, potentially there might be some spells that might be able to disrupt that, like the spell magic and things of that nature. Perhaps that might be something to look into. And the his companion begins scribbling down some notes.
Party composition is important. Perhaps now more than ever we need to work in teams. As I'm sure we've all learned, you can't punch away every problem.
So, what brings you here? Have you joined the army as well?
In a way, as I mentioned before, we've become adventurers. I'm sorry, by we, I mean me and the Cyberpunks. Oh, and by the Cyberpunks, I mean some friends I've met along the way. Um, you, you'll probably need another book for these notes. Um, Belzian would describe the rest of the party in a very positive light.
Awesome.
And then we ended up here after going through a demon portal.
So, are you telling them of your entire journey, or
I give them a pretty good recap that might, take at least an hour.
yeah, yeah? So they take some notes that pertain to demonic stuff, and seem quite impressed by your journey. Um, and are they yeah he the monk that has been writing down notes kind of can't keep up, so he kind of starts making diagrams and things like that to summarize more later, and basically says that he might have more questions for you at some point, but he's kind of overwhelmed at the moment with the amount of things to kind of consider.
True. Well, I can't wait to answer all of your questions, but it will likely have to be at a later time and place.
So, what do you give the armies? The lead monk. By the way, his name's Brian.
I guess, Brian, I certainly didn't forget your name in the 1 month I've been away.
It's been more like two, but yes, Brian. Brian basically kind of pulls you aside, and the other monk draws close too, trying to be out of earshot of the clerics that are perusing the books or listening to your stories and whatnot. And they say that Brian asks, so what do you give our chances of success with Marius's mission?
What would you describe Marius's mission as? First of all, how do you see this?
Well, from what I'm told, the army is being taken out of Seregen to parts unknown to fight the demons.
Ah, okay, yes, I agree on that. I'd say our chances are pretty abysmal, to be honest. This is possibly a mission we might not come back from, you know?
Abysmal.
Yes, yes. Pun intended.
That's great.
Thank you.
They say, oh.
I am not without hope, however.
Is it? I'm. We have so much to do here in Seregen. I would hate to die apart from our lands defending it. If we could defend it in our home.
Do you think we should draw the big demon army over here and take care of them without leaving our house?
Certainly not. I do not wish any demons to be here, but
Sounds like we've got a few already.
yes.
I understand they have much more.
But I mean, if you don't see our chances of success to be well, what point is it for the two of us to go?
There's always a chance. The only way you can truly solidify a loss is by giving up. You have no chance at all if you don't try.
Yes, but wouldn't it be better to plan for better odds?
Typically having several plans is a great idea, but I don't think time will allow it this time. Time, like our army, marches on. We'll have to make a play of some sort, a big play, and I think that's just how we will find success.
Are you trying to influence these crestfallen monks to remain with the army?
This will be like the rousing performance I gave to the guards and the townsfolk at the beginning of session. This will be a rousing speech in a positive direction.
Give me a roll, please.
Hold on here.
That would be, I believe, you were doing a performance, right? Yeah.
This is going to be more persuasion because I know these people.
Correct.
You don't need to be super performative for your friends, right? I mean, we all kind of are. That's why we're friends. We're all goofballs.
Oof.
Not my session.
They don't seem convinced, and that might be because of your honest words from earlier, right? You've already said that there's not really great chances of success, and so they're kind of taking that to heart. As they're kind of speaking with you and kind of you as you're like, no, we should definitely be going. This is the best case. They're kind of like gathering the books from the tables and striking the tables down and kind of gathering things into packs, and as they're kind of listening to you with feigned interest.
Just wait till I get the bit about chess. People love it when you describe winning chess moves from an underdog's perspective. Where will you go?
Brian says, Belzian, I hear you. I hear what you're trying to say. But, well, you have much more experience in these matters than we do, and so you would be an excellent representative for the Sanctum of Arcos, as opposed to us lowly monks who have only seen, well, a bit of what this world has to offer. And with this information that you've given us, we can spread that knowledge to many more people within the kingdom, instead of taking it to potentially our graves in another land where there wouldn't even be a chance of people salvaging this information. No, you've inspired us to a greater purpose, to spread the word of how to fight the demons and what the demons are and why they are here, to the lands of Seregen, so that they are ready should they ever encounter one.
Well, it is true that someone has to live to tell the tale. Someone has to stick around to write it down as well.
And he's actually persuading you to, trying to persuade you to feel that way, but equally fails. I don't know if you can see my roll here, but
you also got a 1.
I rolled
2 ones in a row.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
So he's basically, he at first tries to convince you that you should also stay, being that you are so well traveled. You might also be a good person to kind of help to protect folks and spread the word and them. But they kind of see almost immediately that convincing you of anything else is wasting breath, right? You are pretty passionately trying to get them to stay, and then they realize, you know what, no, there's no way. So
yeah, I would probably realize the same. Like,
yeah,
we need fighters. We need very strong people to fight other very strong things.
Yeah,
it
these
would be a shame.
They both seem more scholarly than they do martial, right? Yeah.
They skipped a few training sessions, perhaps.
Like, they could absolutely fight. They fought off a demon or two in their time, but like
at least one.
Right, at least one. But how many more monks were there when they started that fight? Right, like there's 2 right now.
If there's a draft going on, there's certainly other positions that the military need filled, like logistics and like monks move fast. Maybe they could move food quickly.
Yeah,
it actually would be similar to functions that the Sanctum of Arctos would have done during the Civil War.
Right.
Probably just inter the dead and stuff. So there would be no hard feelings, for sure.
They seem relieved to hear that.
Thank you for understanding, Brian and friends. I, of course, will need someone to come home to celebrate victory. And it would be preferable if it was someone I knew, like you. I suppose this is where we will part for now.
It seems that way, yes. We might want to get going, friend, before we are missed.
Yes, me too. Me too. Before you go, though, one last arm wrestle for good measure.
All right.
Yeah, steel yourself.
All right, give me what you doing an athletics check, I assume.
I guess it would be athletics. The other thing, I have to take off the belt of hill giant strength first because
Okay,
that would be unfair. And I can do an opposed athletics, or what's the other one? Yeah, athletics is the strong one. Acrobatics is the fast one.
correct.
I know how to play this game. Yeah, let's go.
Hey,
Whoa!
roll a natural one
Where I
and
was
natural
thinking,
20. That's hilarious. He
Brian just
immediately
launches
just
Belgian
he's
through
just
a
like,
wall. Bam!
and then
Did
he's
you hear
like,
that?
so your ideas of them being scholarly maybe not as um, uh, valid as you originally thought, but he kind of
Perhaps he hasn't skipped as much training as I thought. Yeah,
yeah, he kind of
maybe I love him.
gives you a knowing smile and leaves with his friend. Brian leaves with his counterpart out the door. Be well, Belzian.
Be well, Brian, and uh, another guy's also named Brian, but one's with a Y and one's with an I.
No, the other one's name is Took.
Duke
Took, Took.
with a Q. Oh, I'm thinking like the Canadian snow hat.
Oh, yeah, it's pronounced that way, yes.
Oh, he certainly took his time telling me his name.
It just never came up.
Yes. Sometimes names aren't important.
I mean, I had to put an end cap on it. Uh,
Oh, that was good. I think all this knowledge may prove useful. Maybe there would be a market for a Pokedex of demons.
yeah, maybe.
One encyclopedia, cover all of them. All right. I will leave the temple
Okay.
and continue south. There is a building of note down here.
It is
Excuse me
getting
for about
fairly late
30
at this point. You spent quite a lot of time in.
I guess I would be telling the story thus far. Those guys probably took an hour or two.
Yeah, you were there for about 3 hours, researching and telling stories and whatnot. So it is
Okay, it is late then.
late in the night at this point.
It's so late, it's almost midnight.
Oh, it's past midnight for sure.
Oh. I shall not take levels in exhaustion. So I would head back to Adventurer's Rest.
Okay,
But I would like to know what this building was.
that is a oh, what was that? Um, I believe. Yeah, we've been there before. I forget what it was though. Um,
Was it like a Flames of Jane hideout or something?
no, the Flames of Jane hideout was over here.
I'm not supposed to know that.
I think this was actually one of the open air markets. So that's like
Okay, maybe where we had the overpriced whale or whatever it was.
no. The overpriced meat guy was at this crossroads here. So this was like it's just like a general market area where it's like a courtyard that fills up with shops and things like that on a regular basis.
Normal city stuff.
Yeah.
And since I'm passing by these places, and you may possibly have your
Sure.
legend open.
Sure. This is kind of the headquarters of Wanderlust. It's where the ship's ledgers are kept and things like that. And this was the other tavern that kind of competes with the Adventurers Guild.
Good luck. He muses as he walks by. All right, so I think we're going to have to hole up in Adventurer's Rest, which is possibly be the last time there for a while.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, so Adventurer's Rest is fairly quiet at the moment. But as you are arriving, you see that some of your party is also just kind of arriving themselves. You see Roger coming in fairly late as well.
He probably saw me first.
Ulrich and Yarvik you find in bed when you get up there. Zippo is nowhere to be seen. Neither is Brunhild. Jordan is also sleeping.
I think Belzian would make preparations for a long rest. He would, greet Roger, of course.
Actually, scratch that. Jordan is not with the party as well.
I say, I don't think he'd stay in Adventurer's Rest.
He's not part of the guild.
He's also kind of hanging out near Carl.
Yeah. Near Marius.
Yeah. So Belzian would, exchange formalities with Roger, of course, and we would muse. I wonder what kind of trouble our little friend Zippo's gotten up to this time.
Yes,
and
says
we'll
Roger.
Have to send out a.
I wonder.
Yeah. I suppose we could check him in the morning, see if he's doing okay. He must have his reasons. He's probably looking for an elemental or something. If there's any trouble, I'm sure Zippo could get a hold of us on the rings.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good night.
Long rest it is.
And that is where we will leave off our session with you taking a rest for the night. So, Bane, thanks again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. Got a blast from the past there with some Sanctum folks.
The only other monks we've seen on this adventure, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least that you knew were monks. I will also say that there was only one place where you would have found these monks. It's not like they were going to be wherever you went. They were always going to be at that church and that church alone. So excellent work finding them.
Oh boy! Did you have an inkling that I would have gone there?
I mean, you'd already been there a couple times, so I wasn't sure if you'd go there or not. But it seemed like the place that those characters would be if they arrived at Licht. So that's where I had them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, where's Waldo? And I found Waldo immediately.
Yeah, you went to a couple other places first, but yeah, you found them pretty quickly, yeah. So that was good.
Very cool.
So yeah, awesome.
I also hopefully got a plethora of terrible rolls out of the way.
Yeah, hopefully. Although rolls are going to be a little bit different for the oncoming battle, and you'll see what I mean by that when the time comes. But yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, boy.
Well,
yay!
With that, we have pressed X and have joined the crew in saying I'm ready for the next monster hunt. So we will see you all on Tuesday the 18th for our next session, where we will begin the end. See you there, and so long.
Good night.
Be safe, be well, and be excellent.